buzzing around me. So, hi, this is Belinda with Belinda's Baubles, and welcome to a special episode. I'm on my way to the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival, and it's beautiful here today. I'm in Virginia, and I am so excited to share this with you. I stopped at this little mill. They're having an art show though, so they don't have the mill open today. And I just figured this was a good place to just say hi and welcome. And I hope you join me on this journey to a fiber festival up in the Skyline Drive area, or Winchester area, I guess would be the closest town it'll be, of Virginia. And I'm going to take you a little bit on a road trip. It's a 70-mile drive from where I'm staying, and let's go have a new adventure. By the way, today is September 28th, and it is my mom and my grandfather's birthdays. They're not with me anymore, but this was something that I would have loved to have shared with my mom, so I'm going to share it with you instead. So I made it. I paid $5 online and got a digital ticket, parked free parking out in the field, and went straight on in. Now this is my first experience with a outdoor fiber festival, so join me.
So I'm taking the river needle out of the river and I'm transferring it into the cylinder. When I'm done, I have to make sure that I didn't accidentally close the latch, because as we all know, if a latch is closed, it won't capture the new stitch, the new yarn, to create a new stitch. So when I'm all set and I do everything I want to do, then I can just continue. On our machine, we have these little metal pieces all over. We call those latch guards. And what they're doing is when a stitch is released or casted off the needle, it keeps the latch from popping shut. And they're on the ribber as well. So when the ribber needle releases a stitch, there's a little latch guard there to keep it from popping shut as well.
Wow.
And also, if you notice, we are rotating the cylinder. So when the cylinder is rotating, so is the knitting.
Yeah.
Okay. And as we talked beforehand, this has the cone shape,
Yes.
and still instead of the cylinder shape, which makes this so unique.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you so much. I will be jumping in and out here with little tidbits. Most of the vendors, there were 144 total. I was able to record about 30 of them, and most of them are online with online presences, but if you have any trouble finding them, please do reach out. Comment down below. I'll be happy to help. Stony Hill Fiber Arts is the home of Shenandoah Valley Yarns, which is a fine organic cotton yarn. And it's just absolutely gorgeous, whether it's done dyed or in natural. And I may have picked up a little something there. You'll have to check out the next video with all of the things that, might have fallen into my bag or may have come back as souvenirs. Okay, so keep looking at all the great stuff in the background while we talk a little bit. I was a bit overwhelmed with this experience. I'd never been to an outdoor fiber festival before, and the only fiber festival I've ever been to before is the DFW Fiber Festival. So this was a whole new experience for me, and it was an amazing experience. But there was so much that I didn't even have a chance to explore. Some of the shows they have inside this is the Eastern Angora Goat Show, a Pygora Goat and Fleece Show, which I had no idea what a Pygora goat is. It's a cross between a pygmy goat and an Angora goat, and it produces 3 distinct kinds of fleece and has a smaller size of the pygmy. On Friday night, they also had the 6th annual Crank-In, which is a gathering of the sock knitters machine gurus, aka the Crankers, and this was a free event. Oh wow, this feels amazing.
So these are all I did it. There's a con called Bldg, Black Nerd Con. So I did all these colors of Black superheroes. So it's Sam Wilson, Ironheart, Mace Windu, Storm. So yeah, so it's just like, hey, why not get into the fun of doing?
Oh yeah,
I made all these superhero bags over here, the Mandalorian and everything. So that was so hey, I still got
exactly. I had so much fun visiting with Terry and her whole family there, and those Uncle Brian's bags are great. Check them out if you have a chance. And look at this. I'm really into color work right now, and my arm just hurts thinking about it. Next up is the Fiberist, and I got a chance to meet Reginald and Spencer. Hi, my name is Belinda. I've got a small YouTube channel called Belinda's Baubles, so I'm actually here from Texas. So I'm taking y'all home with me. Thank you. It's very different than last weekend in the middle of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Oh yeah.
Okay, it was very good seeing you. And congratulations again.
Can you tell how busy their booth was by the noise level around me? All right, so Reginald and Spencer, if you're not familiar with them, come from an IT and architecture background, but they've taken their love of the STEM programs and their love of just science in general and gotten their inspiration by the scientists that are out there and developed this whole unique line. Thanks, guys. It was so great meeting you. Okay, so we're back outside. It was about 80 degrees, so I was sweating in my Flutterbutt shirt. But having such a great time. As you can see, there's just so many different ways to go. All right, Norsk Mountain Farm actually has maker retreats. It's the Norsk Mountain Mill. It says, recharge yourself in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. Enjoy socializing with new friends while crafting and relaxing on a bucolic farm. I'm telling you, glorious things all abound around you. If you're in an area where you're not sure about going to a fiber festival, give it a try if you've got a local one to you. You don't have to just go to the New York Sheep and Wool. Nothing wrong with that. But if this overwhelmed me, I can just imagine how much that would overwhelm me. So let's see what else we can find. And I'm just going from building to building, and I will admit right now, I missed a building. Didn't realize it till I looked at the map afterwards, but I did miss a building. They didn't have any black lights here, but look at this. The tweed is black light reactive. I loved that. Fiber Seed, I was excited to see them because I first met them at the DFW Fiber Fest, the first time I went to the Fiber Fest actually. And I have the pattern for this scarf, and I even have yarn that I purchased years ago when I was first learning how to knit, and I didn't know how to cast on correctly to where I needed to do that scarf. I think I'm ready for it now. if I don't put y'all's information in there like this, I have no idea where I am and how to get people back to you when they ask me, well, where can I get that? I had a great time exploring Linnell's Yarn Hero Fiber Art. She is a one-woman show, and she specializes in mill-spun yarns that she dyes. And I just had a really great time talking to her. She refers to herself as the Queen Bee, so I'm right there with her. Okay, we're now on to the breed barn, which included the educational exhibits. One of them was Underhill Farm Yarns. They currently raise a heritage breed of sheep, the Leicester Long Wools. Please feel free to pause, read through a lot of these different little informations if you can see them. There was just so much information that, again, I may have gotten a little overwhelmed, but I did love meeting all of the animals. I felt so bad for the sheep right at that moment. It was hot, and I was wearing wool too, but I had less wool than they did. Ah. Try and get the shade. Hello. Are you being camera shy? Hi. Yes. Y'all are beautiful. Look at this. I got to be part of Alpaca Farm Days after all. Sorry, I'm always at Alpaca Farm Days and I'm like, I've had it. This is my closest thing.
We're here in the Berryville area. Oh, he's a Logan Haynes. I'm a Logan Ryan.
Listening back to this, I should be embarrassed, but of course I'm not. Okay, so Nimbus Farms is in Clark County, Virginia, and they offer tours, classes, shops, and Kimberly graciously gave us a little demo. Okay, so are you sculpting or weaving with that, basically?
It's called a continuous weave, and so I go, I weave one side, and then by the time you do the weave itself, the continuous weave, so I'll come down here, with one twist. I'll just bear with me, and I'll show you.
You're fine.
I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'll hook it here, and then I come up over to the other side, and then as you can see, I don't have to weave it again because it's just called a continuous weave.
Now, is this similar to what they're doing in like the smaller box frames?
It is. Well, there's a lot of different weaves you can do in the box frames. This one that I'm doing, that I'm partial to, is the continuous weave. So
okay.
And then let's see, it's done down here. So two of my sides
So you just
take care of themselves,
right.
and then I have to. Now is when I'll have to pay attention and do the weaving. But coming back, and then when I'm done, I just pull it off the nails. You don't have to. I'll tie off the two ends that are going to happen, and you just pull it off the loom, and there you go.
Yeah, kind of like crochet. Okay, the Fuzzy Ear, isn't that a great name, is a licensed English Angora rabbitry. And Lorraine and Peter are the owners. They're in Gloucester, Virginia. Been around since 2013. I love getting to see the pictures of the rabbits with the fiber that comes from them. Gives you a little overview here of all the people all around that you've been hearing. So here is Rose Field. As they say, it's fiber that's born, raised, shorn, washed, and dyed on their farm. Okay, settle back. A little bit of story time here. I was so excited to get to meet Michelle and Gwendolyn with Bewitched Pigments Fiber Arts Company. Reason being was during the pandemic, they hosted a virtual fiber festival. And so I would spend my Saturdays on my lunch hour attending fiber festivals pretty much every week, and I got introduced to so many different lines of yarn as well as their own during that time, and I just had an absolute blast, and they really helped center me and keep me going while working during the pandemic, and just being able to still be a part of attending something fibery, something with the yarn goodness. And I was just so excited to get a chance to just kind of visit with them, talk to them in person, and tell them thank you. And aren't these just absolutely beautiful yarns? If you notice, I seem to have had a favorite. I'll let you breathe it in a little bit. Stone Hedge Fiber Mill is located on a 171-year-old working farm. They opened up the fiber mill in 1999, and they do custom fiber processing. Contact them first, and they are the producers of shepherd's wool, which is made from merino top, which is washed, combed into top, and dyed to their specifications, and then pin drafted, often blending additional colors, which makes this. Isling Yarns has been in business for over 20 years, and Krista was educated at the Kendall College of Art and Design in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They specialize in blue-faced Leicester, British top and yarns, American small farm yarns, which means that the farm has 30 heads per breed or often less. I had a great visit, and I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment with some of the Isling yarn. Now, while talking to them, they gave me a ton of information. I'll give you a little bit of a snippet of the conversation at the end here, but I was talking to them about my allergy to woolly wools. And they said that it's generally now viewed that it's due to a chemical sensitivity. So I'm going to do a little experiment and see if that's the process for me. They use the mill that they uses very little chemicals. And so I'm going to see if maybe that is a sensitivity for me, if it's the actual wool, if it's the lanolin, or if it's something else. if you have an interest in learning a lot about all this process, go over to their website and look in the section called About Our Yarn.
Oh, it's cool.
See a very curly, typically American fleece. I prefer the crimp over the curl. It's softer. I know what their breeding program is if they've got curl. but this one is my girlfriend's flock, which she's been breeding for 40 years in BFL.
And see, I'm not itching so far.
You shouldn't.
Usually,
because it's a small mill that I've worked with for 10 years.
Because usually by the time I touch anything my brother's knitting with, I'm usually itching. He gets paranoid with it. He's like, you can't.
Now, this has Surrey alpaca silk lace with it. That one has the mohair and silk with it. But the two up front, up on top, those are just this.
Okay.
And that's Andrew Mowry's Winter Beach
Right.
cardigan. And that one's called Oldies. It's by Revive. It's an Asian designer. Possibly Korean, I believe she is. With my homegrown, you get a little bit of pilling.
At this point, we've made it to the far back of the property. You can see back through all the ones we've gone through, but there's still more to come. Now, are you on Instagram or Etsy or anything, Sally? Okay. Okay.
I can give you my card.
If you So if you watch my DFW Fiber Fest videos, this dyer is going to look familiar to you. Jim's Luxe Fibers was actually at DFW Fiber Fest and was one of 2 vendors that was at both locations.
Are you ready to check out?
They have some gorgeous, soft, beautiful colors and all of those minis. Are you ready for this? I leave Texas, I go to Virginia, and what do I find? I find a rodeo. A yarn truck rodeo, which I think I might like this better. Sorry, rodeo fans. But, can you imagine a yarn truck rodeo? And exploring the country in a yarn truck. So I asked the question, why cesium yarn? Cesium is the most reactive element on the periodic table. Its elemental symbol CS also matches Kat's, the dyer's, initials, making the element near and dear to their hearts. The family that travels here is Penny, Kat, and their dog Pixie. And Kat, being a dyer and chemist, is the creative genius behind their yarn, making use of laboratory skills she honed discovering 3 previously unknown molecules during her science career. Why in the world am I gravitating at green? I'm gravitating towards one color scheme, and I don't know why. Green's not even my favorite color.
Must be borrowing my favorite color.
Well, I'm making a muscle bar for my son, and so it's his favorite color, so I do have green in there at the moment. they created an anthem for me. So I'm out of room, so I definitely will be having to order that one. So I got to meet Birdie, the yarn truck, because the yarn birds have decided that, you know, every yarn truck needs a nickname. So theirs is Birdie. And look at all the different lines of yarn that they do carry a large collection. So this is definitely stepping into a yarn shop.
Saving it for her.
I hit the wrong button a while ago, so now I have to do a redo. Oh, you're fine. Okay, I got the rest of the truck. Oh, now there's not as many people. Yay!
Over $250.
As you just heard, I did have to kind of backtrack a little bit, but just take a look with me inside. This is definitely a full-service yarn shop inside of a truck. Anyone else dreaming with me? Okay, so are you ready for a yarn adventure? In steps Evie, the yarn truck, which is a converted RV. She carries Dean, who is the chief executive yarn husband and Yarn Adventures left brain, along with Katie, their personal yarn enabler. They're taking the concept of the local yarn shop, which is a special place that provides a home for fiber artists, but they're kind of taking that on the road to bring yarn to different communities and to you. They have all different dyers from across the country that they keep in stock, and they mainly travel, it looks like, if you look on their website, in the Midwest and East Coast. But boy, was it fun taking this adventure just for this short time with them. And look, I even found a bit of Texas. Frogget Yarns, you gotta love the name. Okay, they are a husband and wife team. I'm looking on their website to kind of see what it says here. They started as a mobile yarn shop in July of 2017, doing flea markets and craft shows until they finally got accepted into their first actual fiber festival. Tasha is the yarn enabler and yarn dyer. She dyed yarn professionally for 7 years for a small wholesale company near where she lives, and tried some other things, but just came back to the yarn community. And Brian, the husband, designed and did all of the work on the inside of the trailer after work days and on weekends. He also came up with the name since he frequently has to frog his knitting projects. All right, moving on away from the rodeo. I love these mystery packs. They were all different price points, and I thought it was a great touch. This is the Sweater Weather Fibers booth. She does hand-dyed yarn and fiber, knitting pattern design, and one-of-a-kind buttons and stitch markers. And I really do love this crochet top that she did. Let's see, where is it? I wanted to show it to you. Ah, there it is. Isn't that fun? I gave her my card. I'm Belinda. I have a small YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And I was just
Thank
you.
Sorry, I walked away to try to.
I know that's what she said, and I didn't realize.
I thought. Oh, I see you have an airline bag. Love her.
Yeah, she was at DFW Fiber Fest last weekend, and I'm here for family stuff, and I'm like, okay, there's a fiber festival 70 miles away from where I'm staying. I'm like, y'all don't need me on Saturday. I'll be there for Sunday. So we are in the last building that I made it to, and this is the Juried Fleece Sale. In their book, it says every fall, producers from Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania travel to the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival and come together with hundreds of hand spinners, felters, and fiber artists of all mediums to celebrate their shared love of fiber at the annual Juried Fleece Sale. The local fiber sale is a staple of their festival, and through juried evaluation assures buyers of a minimum quality standard in every fleece offered for sale. The annual Juried Fleece Sale is unique in that the fleeces are not simply accepted for consignment, but examined by trained fleece sales staff prior to being offered for sale. Okay, I'm going to read you a little bit about Flying Fibers off their website. It says, nestled in the valley of the Susquehanna River is White Rose Acres, home to Flying Fibers Flock and the Wool Shop. Flying Fibers Flock consists of Jerry and Irina's rare breed North American Wensleydale sheep, endangered Leicester long wool sheep, and rare breed Shetland sheep. You can also find their wool shop right between the barn and the pasture. I had a great time just visiting with them, and this Seedale was really interesting. Here it is. It's grown with love in the UK and made with care in the United States. All right, next up is Head Springs Fiber Mill, a full-service mill out of West Virginia. And along with the yarn and the art here, they also had a book signing for Jessamine's Yarn, which the cover for the book actually came from a collaboration that started here at Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. Here's our last booth, Robin's Promise. To see more of their booth, go to DFW Fiber Fest episode 2. Well, this is a wrap. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I have all this behind me. It has been a blast. See all those buildings we went through and more. There's more back there that you can't even see from here. But please like, subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will have a new video coming soon. All right, stash video too coming soon, or not stash, but the oops, it fell in the bags. That'll be coming soon. All right, thanks so much. Bye.